Guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Story, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we were talking about insane coworkers. My jaw was literally on the floor, completely flabbergasted as I was reading these. They're insane, and I literally only kept the most insane ones for you guys. So yeah, before we jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. If you like Reddit stories, story times of any type, they are a good time, and I love to hear your opinion on them, so don't be afraid to comment down below if you are on a platform where you are able to. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into today's episode.
I'm Grace Story, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now.
And of course, all of these are from Best of Redditor updates because we love a conclusion over here. Can't sleep at night without them. So this first one is originally from Am I Overreacting, but was then moved to Best of Redditor updates. And the title is Am I Overreacting? My coworker took a video of me outside of work to prove I'm not disabled. This is weird, so I need to know if I'm crazy for going as far as I did. I have a condition of chronic pain. The way I explain it to people without chronic pain is that if pain were on levels from 1 to 10, normal people are at most at a 2 or 3 from day to day, where people with chronic pain are more at like a 6. Like imagine stepping on a Lego or hitting your funny bone. That's a very brief but excruciating 8. It's like if you pulled a muscle and so there's pain and discomfort if you move it, but pretty much daily. Some days I am higher on the scale, rare blessed days I am more 4 or by some miracle lower. So I have a lot of family members that have chronic pain. Whoa, it's snowing outside. Yeah, there's a lot of people in my life that have chronic pain, so I totally understand. It's hard to see because people with chronic pain are used to it, so they're pretty good at hiding it. And then when they actually do have like different symptoms, when you tell them rate this on a pain of like scale of 1 to 10, their every day is like a 6. So it's like for them, something that would be really, really painful for someone who's like a normal person, normal as in doesn't have chronic pain. Obviously, they're still a normal person. Anyone like that who doesn't deal with chronic pain, they would be higher than someone who has dealt with chronic pain because their pain threshold's higher. Does that make sense? I feel like that's common sense, but I don't know. Anyway, continuing. Overall, I am active and operate well. I do own canes, but I only use them on days when I'm 7 or above. Such a day came this past Sunday. On top of my full-time job, I have a part-time. Due to being physically and legally disabled, I had all the paperwork already filed with my job in case I ever need accommodations. I have a handicap marker on my license plate and place card on my rearview mirror in the works. I was recently moved to a location closer to my home. I love my new team. My boss Amy is really great. My colleague Casey and I get along okay, but we're the same position as assistant coordinators to Amy. The reason I was moved to that location was that it expanded and they needed more hands, so they added me. Casey has wanted a promotion for a long time and everyone knows it. I was pretty open that I don't. Any promotion from my position would be a full-time, and I already have a full-time job. I do this job to pad my savings because I frankly like the job. Being busy also helps with my anxiety. We love it. Love to see it. I mean, Casey works hard, but she also likes to talk over me or rush to take charge of something before I can when I clearly was getting to it. She then announces it. Oh, I handled that for you, OP. Don't worry. And at first I was annoyed, but over time I was like, all right then, but you didn't have to. I talked to Amy about this. I want to pull my weight, but it can be challenging and redundant when Casey is racing to beat me to it. The point was for us to split tasks evenly. Amy said she would talk to her, and I don't know what came of that, but things didn't really change much, so I accepted it. So when I came in Monday with my cane, everyone had questions. I emailed Amy Sunday night, so she knew, but I tend to be private, so what I told everyone else was that I have a condition and sometimes I need a cane, but not always. I feel like that is like a common sense thing, like, especially around this time of the year where like, oh, the weather's changing a lot. Joints will be hurting more. You hear people talking about that. You know, things flare up at different times of the year. So it makes sense. Amy accommodated me. She assigned me tasks that required little to no movement. I was very grateful and got everything done pretty early, so I called over the radio if there was anything else I could do. Casey said no, she's got it, so I just handled admin stuff that's usually on the back burner. Replied with, okay, I'll tackle the admin list then. And Casey said no, she's got it, but Amy followed that with a thank you to me and confirmation that this would be helpful. I still needed my cane yesterday, which was Tuesday, And it was similar. I completed most of the admin to-dos, and Amy was so relieved to have it done. She thanked me for coming in and doing all that instead of calling out. Casey made a comment that she could have helped, but I said that's okay and thanked her for handling the more physical tasks. That seems like a good compromise. Like, Casey wants to do everything, then do the harder, more physical things. Then you can take on the admin tasks. You're still doing the job, you're still contributing, but it's helpful to you and helpful to Amy and should be helpful to Casey. I feel like that's a great compromise. We ended up walking to the parking lot together, and she asked which car was mine, so I pointed at it. She then said, "So I know you're not disabled, by the way." And I asked what she meant. She just repeated herself and said, "So no cane tomorrow, okay?" I won't tell. Just no cane tomorrow. Girl, what? And then she just put like the side eye emoji. Like, what are you talking about? I stood there like WTF, but I was meeting my best friend and just left to make it on time. I met my BFF Joy at the bar, and we had a wonderful time. I brought my cane, but to be honest, I didn't always use it. For example, I didn't use it to walk from my table to the bar to request another drink or when I got up to hug Joy goodbye. Today, when I woke up, my pain was higher than normal, so I took my cane along. I texted Amy that I had my cane, but doing okay in small bursts, so put me in, coach. I was having a good time at my main job and didn't give Casey a thought. Yeah, as you shouldn't. Like, I would have just ignored her too. Like, girl, what? I arrived at my job and Casey saw my cane and went red. I mean, like the way I looked when the Eagles lost to the 49ers, lol, just super mad. I greeted everyone, she ignored me completely. We got our assignments and she snidely said to me, "Well, can you handle that with your cane and all?" In a tone that even made Amy turn to look at her like, WTF. I said I can manage and thanked her for her concern, and we went about our work. Once again, she raced to beat me to things and saying over the radio, "Don't strain yourself, OP. I did X task or got Y done." I was so confused until about an hour ago when we finished work. She again walked with me to the parking lot, but this time showed me a video. It was me. It was me at the bar last night with Joy. I was just like, why do you have a video of me? That's weird. She says it's proof. I asked of what, and she said it's proof I'm not disabled as I acted so wounded all day at work, but suddenly didn't need my cane at the bar. Ma'am, it's like small bursts. Like you said, like you're literally walking to the bar and back. It's not like you're walking a long distance. It's not like you're doing something at work. Like, and your cane, like it just makes, I get your gist. Like I understand fully. But I've also been around people who have chronic pain, so I get the wavelength, you know? But yeah, this is insane. Either way, it's none of Casey's business. Not at all. Like, she may think it is, but it's none of her business. What? I wanted to explain that it's just not how CP works. Like, yes, I can stand up to hug my friend or get up and walk 3 strides to order a new drink, but I can't, for example, lean over and organize a bottom drawer without a chair to sit in. I wanted to explain the chronic pain is just an chronic pain. I don't know why I can't talk today. It's extra bad, apparently. Chronic pain is just an umbrella, and under it are a myriad of experiences and abilities, and that honestly, if she had left my tasks alone, I'd have done them. She didn't give me the chance and said, "No cane tomorrow, I'm serious, or I'm going to Chad." Chad is Amy's boss. Oh, I would have gone to Amy at this point and been like, "Just so you know, this is happening." I said, "About what?" But she was already walking away from me and just got in her car. It's just weird, and oddly, Chad would know this is BS because his boyfriend has chronic pain too. Oh, there we go. I'm not so much worried about being found out or anything, but it's just weird, and I'm literally typing an email to Amy, CCing Chad about this weird behavior because it's just odd. Am I crazy to want to preemptively explain this? I'm anxious and paranoid in general, so I don't want to overreact or make things worse. No, I totally would go to them. Like, ignoring it was the only way to handle it, my solution, like not giving her the time of day. But when it gets to this point, it's like, no, you need to cover your bases and like cover your back because she is very seriously unhinged and going to do something crazy. Like go to your boss's boss, not even to your boss. Edit. I sent the email and also thanks for letting me know I'm not crazy for feeling weirded out. Also, I will be simply blocking anyone who is saying this is fake. I don't have time for your BS, to be frank. I also texted Amy and Chad. Edit 2. Jesus Chrysler driving Christ. That's a lot of notifications. I'll edit to try to reply all here because there isn't enough coffee in the world. It's morning and I'm still about out of 7 and it's cold today, so even if I didn't want to bring my cane, I would have to. I texted ahead so Amy can start thinking about tasks today. For some common things I've noticed, yeah, my pain scale Lego idea wasn't on scale. Stepping on a Lego was the funniest thing I could think of that hurt, so I wanted to paint a picture. I wasn't making a clinical pain chart, lol. Feel free to use your own theater of the mind scenarios to help people without chronic pain have an idea of what it's like. Okay, I can agree that pain is subjective to a certain extent. Like, some people just handle it better. Like, I know people who could never get a tattoo, whereas, like, I've gotten tattoos on, like, my fingers, on my rib cage, places where it's supposedly really painful, and it wasn't that bad for me at all. So I think that, yeah, it's totally, to a certain extent, subjective. You are just more sensitive. Like, some people are more sensitive than others. So take it all with a grain of salt. Like, we're all gonna have different pain responses, and, like, obviously having chronic pain, you're gonna have a different tolerance and you're gonna have a different idea of, like, what pain is. Also, I don't understand the vague "don't use the term CP" comments. Sorry, in this post it means chronic pain. It's within that context. Sorry, but I don't get the issue here, or if it's upsetting, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know that that was an issue. Sorry, guys. If it is, I don't know. Amy and Chad have both responded, so we will see how today goes. Anyway, this was my first break in my full-time job, so I have to get back to it. Wait, what did they respond with? Update number 1. This was the next day. I was asked a lot to update when I got off work, so here it is. Today was weirdly quiet, which almost made it worse. Not sure what everyone knows, but they at least know something's up. I wasn't even in the same area as Casey during check-in, and I have no clue when she actually arrived. I usually see her as our shifts are the same hours. Turns out she'd been assigned to the back office doing other tasks. Hours reduced, well, I was put at the admin booth at the entrance handling paperwork and spreadsheets. They definitely took advantage of it because I'm good at it. Happy medium. We love to see it. So we didn't cross paths at all at first. I actually turned on a voice recorder app as soon as I got to work, just in case. I also added a shortcut on my phone so I can start recording quickly if I need to, just in case. I don't want to be caught off guard like before. So I did feel a little silly doing it, but I'd rather feel silly than unprepared, you know? I didn't see Casey until the end of the shift, and even then it was barely a glimpse. She looked up, saw me, and immediately turned away, like full-on avoidance. It made my stomach drop. I just turned away, minding my business. Amy was very reassuring, but also vague at first. I didn't like that, and I think my face said so. And she said she doesn't like all the red tape and such either, but to be patient because they needed to go through all the right channels and steps. I can't believe that Casey didn't expect you to go to Amy. Like, she literally said she was going to go to upper management. So, like, why would you not? Like, she gave you a heads up, you know? I, like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Amy let me go home early, but she told me to log my full hours anyway, made it clear she and Chad are actively talking about this and taking it seriously, and I am almost certain she and he had been texting the whole shift. She also walked me to my car and said that we'll continue for now until everything is resolved. About an hour after my shift ended, I got an email from her, which had CC'd, saying that tomorrow, Friday, Casey will be assigned to admin duty in the back office unless something changes before the shift, and that we should not be interacting at all. It's a long weekend, so I figured all the behind-the-scenes stuff will be happening then. I also found out that Casey already, quote-unquote, presented her evidence. Okay, so she had already gone to them. Weird. I wonder if she did it and then told her she was going to them, or if she, like, when the timeline was. Not that it matters, but like I said, why would you give someone a heads up that you're, like, going to do it and, like, threaten them? T. That includes the video she showed me before and another video from yesterday, Wednesday. Apparently she filmed me at a local winery during Wine Wednesday. There's a clip of me getting up to grab a bottle a few steps away, and later another clip of me standing up and doing a small little celebratory dance after a tabletop game win. Girl, is she, like, following you? How does she know? Like, I never see coworkers outside of work. Like, at any job that I've been at, it is very, very rare. So, like, how does she see you? Maybe it's a smaller town. I don't know. But even, like, in my very small hometown, I never see people I know. So, girl, not that that's the same way for everybody. Everybody has different stories, different vibes. You guys, some of you have been getting really, really technical in the comments and saying, like, well, you said this one thing, like, and taking it very seriously. Like, we're all gonna have different experiences, and I'm very aware of that, but I can only go off of my experience. So, yeah, if you don't agree or if that's not your experience, then that's how it is. That's how it be. I'm totally respectful of that. Be respectful of me and my experiences, because that's all I know. And I am trying to, like, I always try to say in my experience so that you know, but apparently that isn't enough because some of you still get a little stressed. Um, but I get it. It's okay. We're gonna continue. That's the part that really messed with my head because hold on, when did she start recording me? For how long? I mean, I could maybe believe coincidence once. Like, okay, lightning struck and it's weird. Same town, same general area, blah blah blah. But twice, 2 different days, 2 different places. That's when it stopped feeling like my paranoia getting the best of me and started feeling unsettling. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's because I have had someone stalk me before, and so my senses are like extra alert. But yeah, it's just weird. And that close together too, like you never saw her ever until this week. Like just weird. That's suspicious. I'm honestly starting to wonder if this is something that might need police involvement, as some comments suggested, and I hate that my brain even went there, but I mean, what other options are there right now? I'm typing this from a bar right now, but not the same one as before, thank God. It is still local to the school, teachers come here a lot, and it's Thirsty Thursday, so there's a bigger happy hour discount if you show your school ID. Joy is with me, and a couple other friends are on their way. Joy had been here during my shift in case I needed any backup fast. That said, my head is absolutely on a swivel. So is Joy's. I don't feel relaxed the way I normally would. I keep scanning the room without meaning to, and when people get too close for me or stand in any way facing me, I look up to see if it's her. It's effing weird. That's what happens. Like, I remember this feeling, and I don't wish it on anyone. It's so, like, it's just like, you don't feel comfortable, you can't get comfortable, like, it's so uncomfy. I know that that's the opposite of comfortable, but I can't even, like, it's just, I don't, you, I don't even. Okay, continuing. I'm still trying to process all of this, and honestly, I'm confused more than anything. I keep going back and forth between maybe this is nothing and this doesn't feel normal. Right now, I'm just documenting everything and doing what HR tells me to do, but I don't like how small and watch this situation is starting to feel, and I hate that I'm recording every moment I can in case she pops up. If nothing else, I'm safe tonight and will be staying at Joy's. I'm not alone, and work has made sure we're separated for now. I guess we'll see what tomorrow brings, so unless something crazy happens, I won't be updating until this is resolved. Wish me luck. Edit. I just replied to a follow-up email answering some recurring questions HR asked. My answers all ended up centering around, I had never directly or indirectly invited Casey out anywhere. We are not friends outside of the workplace and have never socialized one-on-one. I was also asked whether I feel safe at work. Right now, yes, because management has taken steps to separate us and has been present and supportive. I've yet to be alone at all at work. I'm continuing to follow their guidance and document everything as instructed. I'll update if anything materially changes, but for now I'm letting HR handle it outside, making a non-emergency police report in the morning. Okay, good. My thing about the police is, at least where I am in Kentucky, it's a very, 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 very hard to get a restraining order unless they have hurt you already. Like, they can threaten to hurt you, they can threaten to hurt themselves, they can threaten to hurt other people, but until they hurt you, you can't get a restraining order, which is so dumb because I was never hurt, like, physically, but emotionally, obviously, like, looking over your shoulder and things like that, it's really scary, like, someone knowing where you live, someone showing up to your house, like, someone leaving notes on your car. These are all things that happen to me. Um, very, very unsettling and, like, scary, like, you can't be comfortable, which is emotionally and mentally hurtful. So my fear is that because she hasn't hurt her, what can they do? I mean, ableism is obviously an issue, but is there a law against that? Because while it's morally wrong, if it's not legally wrong, what will they do? But obviously, I am always on the side of file a police report, even if nothing comes out of it, file it. Because one, it's evidence if something does happen. It leaves like a paper trail. And two, something could come of it, and you would hope that something would come of it. So I always encourage you. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it does make me anxious for OP. There is another update that is 8 days later. Hey, on my phone, so sorry for typos. Happy Friday, guys. By the way, this was January 23rd, 2026, so this just happened. Thanks so much for all the sweet messages checking on me. All things considered, I'm okay. My pain spiked pretty badly this past Tuesday, so I took it easy and took off from my full-time job to pamper myself. That gave me time to think and spend time gaming and gardening. That was a welcome break to brace myself for my part-time job. So yes, I have been taking care of myself, and I loved all the Reddit moms and dads checking in. This will be long as I'm trying not to forget anything so I can close this out, or at least put a pin in it, as I know for me as a Reddit scroller, unfinished stories are almost as frustrating as the that go on forever. I'm hoping this is my final update on the matter. One of us, one of us. Legal is now involved. I genuinely don't even know our organization even had a legal department, but apparently it does, and they're looped in alongside HR. Okay, that's good that the company legal is involved. An HR rep has been communicating with me, but honestly, things have been very quiet on that front, which I'm taking as no news as good news. Any HR, I feel like, is very hush hush, even to the people that are involved. If you're not the person they are directly talking to, you are usually not looped in for fear of it. I think it's for fear of it getting out, but I'm not sure what the reason is. So I'm not surprised. I'm still at my school and I still love it. I love the students and faculty and even the parents. Anyone in education knows parents can be great, but they can be so not great. And rarely is there an in-between. Casey has been transferred to an admin position at an office in the company I don't even go to. I haven't seen her since my last post, and I'm glad of it. Why hasn't she been fired? Just saying. Work has been peaceful without her. I have more work to do now as the only assistant coordinator there, but I'm starting to get my rhythm and the staff there has been very supportive, plus I have more chances to get to know the people I work with. What I didn't expect was finding out from multiple coworkers and several conversations was that almost from the moment I joined that campus, Casey had been trying to spread rumors about me, including suggesting that I am a danger to kids, that I have a quote-unquote explosive temper, which is honestly wild to hear about myself. Yeah, based on how you're writing this, obviously I can only go based on the context we have. You seem like a very chill person who is not quick to like anger or quick to jump into things. Which, yeah, I'm almost always described by others as soft spoken to a fault and usually get told I need to be more strict with students. If anything, I balance Amy out as the good cop to her bad cop. Plus, the angry black woman tropes are so freaking tired, so it was extra annoying to find out that she was trying to paint me as such. So she was being racist. Okay, that makes sense. She also said to people that the reason she took over my tasks was because I did them wrong or made her job harder and she had to redo things. She basically had a narrative that I was Mr. Magoo causing chaos and she was the saintly, hardworking teammate trying to clean up my messes so I don't get in trouble. But she went to your boss about you getting you in trouble, but she doesn't want you to get in trouble? Okay. HR is still investigating, and I've been told to continue documenting things that come up. I'm ready to do so, but so far it's been quiet. One unexpected upside is I'm now the sole person at my campus with my title, which came with a pay raise. Not how I would have chosen to get it, but I'll take the win. I did file a police report. I think I mentioned this in my last post, but if not, I was told very clearly that filming in public places isn't illegal and that there's no reasonable expectation of privacy in those spaces, so there was no criminal action taken. Cue my eye roll, but at least it's officially reported. Exactly what I said. Like, oh, she didn't hurt you, so there's nothing they can do, even though she's obviously harassing you. Like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. The report is strictly documentation. The local places I frequent have been made aware of the situation and that a report exists. My friends were incredible that helped me get my car cleaned in detail just to be absolutely sure there wasn't anything like a tracker or AirTag like some comments suggested we do. I didn't think of that. That's true. I also finally got around to asking my neighbor to help me install my other security cams. I used to have only one in my doorbell cam, and now I pull up live footage on the whole system all around my house. And to those suggesting a dash cam, I already have one. I never use that feature, so my friends help. My car is fairly new, and I'm still getting used to it. I did start to go over and back up all footage going back since I started at my campus by motion activation points, and now have a hilarious compilation of the neighborhood cats being adorable or the crows I feed leaving random things. Yes, I did the crow mom thing. So another good thing came out of this. I'm not changing my routines, but I'd be lying if I still wasn't a little on edge, especially since multiple coworkers mentioned hearing Casey blow up at Amy on her last day on campus, and Amy sent her home for the day. This was on my day off, as only Amy and Casey work MLK Day, and the coworkers there volunteered to work the holiday for extra pay, time and a half. What she said varies depending on who tells it, but the fact that it happened at all doesn't exactly make me feel warm and fuzzy, as I'm sure you'll understand. But I tell myself everything that can be done on my end has been done, so I try not to stress about it. That said, I also reached out to a few lawyers that just understand my options. I'm very aware that HR exists to protect the company, not me, so I want to cover my bases. I meet one over Zoom at lunch break, so wish me luck. I still record when I walk to or from my car. My therapist reminded me to be careful to make sure my being proactive doesn't turn into living fear and giving into my anxiety or PTSD from past trauma. I'm taking that seriously as my mental health has been a journey and I don't want to go back to the way I was before. I can't and won't let someone else shrink my life again. I do want to address reoccurring comments because I can't reply to everyone. She goes to bars a lot. Drinking is bad. Yes, I go to bars. No, that does not mean I drink heavily or have a drinking problem. What a leap. I mean, look, I'm disabled and I socialize within what my body allows, and that's an isolating enough experience if I let it be. My friend, who are mostly able bodied people, go to bars, so sometimes that's where I go. I feel like as an adult, that's also like the common place to go to socialize. Like, I don't drink okay, I do very rarely socially. Like, I know before I go into something if I'm gonna drink or not. If it's like a weekend and my friends and I are going bar hopping, I'll have a couple of drinks. But if it's like a Tuesday and we're going out to just hang out and have food, like, I'll just eat the bar food. I love, 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 love bar food. Like, guilty pleasure. But yeah, as an adult, I feel like that's just the common thing to do, at least in Kentucky. That's like what everybody does. Like, hey, let's go to the bar. There's casual bars, there's like the more dancey drinking bars. Like, let's just go have pizza and like, a drink or whatever. It's very, very standard. Like, let's go get a drink after work. Very common to do that. So I don't think that it necessarily means she has a drinking problem. It sounds like she has a good head on her shoulders. But she does say, sometimes I drink, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's a mocktail, sometimes it's soda. I know my body better than strangers on the internet, to be blunt. For what it's worth, my ex was an alcoholic and he was abusive and spiraled until it ended him. So I promise I'm very aware of what that looks like and probably one of the last people to be overly concerned about on the matter. Wow, I'm sorry that people were judging a book by its cover and jumping to that conclusion. How does she have time to work 2 jobs and go out? Why won't she just go home? I do, in fact, have time to go out after work. I work from home full time and part time at the school. If I go straight home after a long day, I tend to just keep working. I'm a workaholic by nature, and going out helps me actually relax and not make my entire life about my job. I also intentionally line up PTO with most school holidays to rest and take staycations. This is me managing my health, both physical and mental, not avoiding reality. We get it, queen. I totally understand. I work from home full time and obviously like do the podcast, my dog's social media, all of that I do as well. And if I don't get out, I sit at home and just work because there isn't much of a separation between it. Don't go anywhere alone, OP/concerns for my safety. Right now, I'm both safe and supported. I'm cautious, but I'm still living my life. I'm choosing not to let this take over my entire world, and this is supported by my therapist. This is a tongue twister. And to the folks who were weirdly judgmental, well, you must be an absolute blast at parties. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Again, words. I guess that I have a stuffy nose right now from allergies, so that's probably why I can't talk, so apologies for that. But yeah, that's another thing that I want to say is if you are in a situation where you feel like someone is following you or harassing you or things like that, it's very important to not like live inside and live in fear and just minimize yourself to only being at a home, like at home alone. Like, you can't let it rule your life. I definitely didn't. I was out with my friends a lot, and that actually happened to save me because when this person was showing up, I was never in the same place a lot. Like, she's going to the same bars, and I had the same hangout spots. I was going to frat parties and things like that, which were all the same. Like, same. I still had the same routine, went to the same gym, things like that. But I was always with people, and I think if I hadn't been, I would have spiraled a lot more, and it would not have been healthy. So don't just stop living life because something is scary, but do get help, make sure you're supported, make that rapport, even if unfortunately nothing comes of it. It's important to ensure that you are balancing out like a healthy amount of fear and not letting it completely ruin your life because then they win and that's not fun or fresh. Oh, there's an edit. Ister woke me up and I looked at my phone. Joy and my other friends have a group chat, and I think they forgot which chat I'm on with them because they've been trading screenshots of Casey's social media. From what I've gathered, Casey did put some of her socials on private in the past day or so, but that didn't stop my friends from screenshotting some disturbing posts. In short, Casey has bought into the stereotype that Black women, especially, steal from the government by leaning on welfare. Such an age-old and tired racist trope yet again. And other government programs, and this included faking disabilities to rip off public programs because we clearly don't want to work. I did just forward all to the HR rep I am in contact with. Turns out this probably wasn't about my cane after all, just plain flavored canned racism without salt. Frankly, how boring is that in my country? Joy I had over with homemade chili and news. No idea what to make of that, but Casey is related to a higher up. Looks like an uncle or niece. That could be another reason legal is involved, but we're guessing at this point. That makes sense because why hasn't she been fired? Like, why has this bestie not been fired? I will say racism is getting so common in workplaces. Like, why are we not just firing people? Like, it's just becoming like people are getting away with it left and right. And it's like, why are we not like holding people accountable? I'm sorry. What? Like, why are we not even calling it out and saying, hey, that's racist. Hey, maybe don't say that. Hey, that's not correct. Like, sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Apparently, there is a new edit, a whole other one. Wow, okay. Oh, wow, there's more. Okay, there's how many more edits are there? There's two more. This is a long one. Hi, I'm in Texas and honestly just trying to understand what options I have at this point because this seems to be escalating and I feel like I'm not getting the help I need. Oh, well, you're in Texas, so that that was like the piece I needed. I was like, I wonder where she's at because the bars and the racism. Yeah, Texas lore. I posted previously in another sub, but things have escalated and people suggested I come here. She posted in what is this posted in? Legal advice. Okay, reading. What's happening now is that since she was fired, some really upsetting things have started around the same time. For example, on Tuesday the 27th, I found a handwritten note placed on my car while it was parked outside my home. It included a racial slur, N-word, B-word, and calling me selfish. I quickly checked with neighbors on the other side and I was the only one who got a note. I checked my dash cam and moved a camera on my home to cover the area going forward. The footage from my dash only shows someone bundled up approaching a car with no identifying details, as their face was covered and they were wearing like ski-looking goggles. Be so for real. Notes on the car. I mentioned that. Oh my gosh, this is escalating. This sounds like she's literally obsessed. Like this is becoming an obsession. Girl, get some help. Wednesday night, the 28th, I went to trivia night with a friend who drove us in her vehicle. She had snow tires on her vehicle, and though the roads in our area were pretty clear, we wanted to be cautious. When we came back to her car, there was another note with similar language left on her car. We went back and asked for footage, but they said they didn't have cameras that worked out there. No damage to either car, and we did double check during daylight just in case. I've also started getting texts from unknown numbers beginning Monday that are hateful or at least pretty scary. I haven't replied to any of them. I've muted the numbers in case they text again and saved screenshots for the police. I reported both note incidents and the messages. I was told that filming in public isn't illegal, leaving a note without damaging property isn't a crime, and the messages aren't actionable unless they escalate. I told you! Oh my god, this makes me so mad. They did take reports and told me to keep documenting, which I fully intend to do. Yep. You gotta just keep making the reports, and then when you finally have enough and you can, like, go to court, then they'll see all of them combined and be like, oh, damn, maybe we should have done something sooner. Hopefully, that's the hope. Casey no longer works for the company. HR and legal are aware of the original situation. I'm documenting everything. Dates, screenshots, photos. I had cameras and a dash cam. I'm not fully changing my routines, but I am being cautious. I think that's pretty much everything, but ask me questions if needed and I will answer. And then she asks some questions, says she's starting to get freaked out, and she wants to make sure she's handling this the right way. She's pretty sure it's Casey, but without proof, she's not able to get the cops to work with her. Final update. I'm sorry, I honestly thought my last update was the end, but things keep happening. At this point, Reddit is my little safe space. I'm so sorry, bestie. I'm at my friend's home drinking her wine and lounging in her guest room, safe and not alone. I am safe. Thank you for everyone who has been asking and checking in on me. I'm okay. My life has pretty much become a cartoon, I swear. And I've become that weirdo who now makes jokes that ride the line of funny and not appropriate about my jokes. What? The morning I found the AirTag in the inside pocket of my cardigan, I went straight to the police. They took it as evidence immediately, and for the first time I felt I was being taken seriously. I don't know the technical details of what happens next, but I was told that it was active and they would pursue the account information attached to it. So yay, they're taking this more seriously. Meets Christ Almighty, this is so effing serious. And cue my brain just failing to cope. I had what I was told later to be a panic attack. It was unlike any I've had before. For one, I gained a stutter, and I fully believed it was a heart attack and not a panic attack because my heart felt like it was about to come out of my damn chest. I sat down and my lungs were on fire. It was hell. A few restless days later, I was informed that Casey had been confronted by police. I don't know what was said during that interaction, and I hadn't been given many details, but my lawyer said that that same evening she was arrested for public intoxication and resisting arrest. Those charges are public record. I'm not celebrating that in a petty sense, but practical. Well, yeah, bestie, it's like your safety. Like, even if you can try and say, like, oh, I'm not bothered by this, but this is worrisome. It just confirmed for me that the inability I was feeling around the situation wasn't imagined, and that unfortunately right now, her being held by police meant I was safe. For the first night since this all happened, I was able to sleep. Since that arrest, no notes left anywhere I found and no texts. Only a relative who works upper management above me who emailed me and said he was sorry this was happening, but it was worded in a way that didn't really say sorry for what she did to me. It was frustrating, political, and I just would have preferred he say nothing at all. I didn't respond, I just forwarded it to my lawyer. There hasn't been any further direct contact. However, something else came to light and forced me to take additional precautions because, of course, it's never that simple. Earlier on when I started there, I had briefly misplaced my keys at work. I was told a student found them and brought them to the office, and I told they were kind. I have a Totoro charm and a Sailor Venus charm on mine. I was told just recently that a male office staff member handed them to Casey because she claimed she was picking them up for me. What? I was never informed of that at the time, as Amy ultimately handed me my keys. Wait, what? So that was back in the day. So he might not have not known, but I don't like that. There's no proof she copied them, but there's no proof she didn't. Now I now live in the better safe than sorry camp. Yeah, as you should. Given everything that has happened, I can't ignore the possibility. I'm now changing all my locks. It's expensive and frustrating, but I don't want to live with uncertainty about who has access to my home, especially people who are unhinged enough to stalk me. I've been sent enough horror stories. They live rent-free in my brain now. So no, I have no intention of being an episode on a show on investigation discovery. My employer has placed me on paid leave until after spring break while everything is sorted out per HR. Literally this past Monday. I didn't request it, but I understand the reasoning and I am glad of it. They framed it as a safety and liability measure while legal processes continue. Like, say less. Plus, it's no questions asked, full scheduled hours pay, and my main job is work from home, so I barely left my friend's place. She mainly works from home too, and we've just been watching My Hero Academia and Comey Can't Communicate until we run out of episodes and drinking wine at the end of our work hours. She also showed me how to play Dragon Age and Elder Scrolls. In return, since she won't accept money for rent, I've been cooking more. We've gotten down cookbooks from her shelves and I've been picking our favorites. Last night I made calzones. Tonight I'm here on Reddit while waiting for my timer after the chicken marinates to make fried chicken, mashed potatoes with homemade gravy. And then she goes on to say that she's less scared than she was. She has gotten texts of photos of the students holding banners and cards, hoping she comes back soon. And the AirTag was like the climax of stress, but it has made the police take her situation more seriously. And so she does feel better about that. Still documenting, and just kind of trying to chill out and relax. But that is the final update. That was a long one. Sorry that was so long. I did not expect it to be so long, but that was insane. And yeah, that was just wild. That's insane. We are going to read a couple more. This is just going to be a longer episode. Let me know if you like the longer episodes, if you can comment, because I never know, like, do you want them long? Do you like them shorter?
That's what she said.
Usually I try to be around 30 minutes, but I can do longer, shorter. It's whatever you guys are feeling. This next one is titled, My Boss Brought a Machete to a Disciplinary Meeting with Staff. Oh, Captain, my Captain. I'm a lawyer working at a smallish firm in the Midwest. As a bit of background, my last job was at a nonprofit where I believed in the work and loved my coworkers, but it was a bad fit. My old boss shredded my self-esteem, and my leave taking was not entirely voluntary. I was also hella depressed and having constant panic attacks, and I was completely burned out. I feel very lucky to have found this job where I'm able to help people, work decent hours, and make a good living with folks who think I'm awesome. So on to the question. There's been drama at work among the support staff, and my boss restructured to help reduce friction, putting me in charge of a law clerk and an admin that I'll call Sheila. My Sheila. Okay, my brain is just an assortment of memes, just constantly circling. Sheila is young and pretty. She's also a hard worker and a lot of fun. We get along great, and as a team, we're doing really well. The problem is that my boss, who is the head of the firm and has no one in authority over him, has a thing for Sheila. And when Sheila started hanging out with one of the other attorneys, he took it badly. I know this because he confronted Sheila about it, asked if she was effing the other attorney, and asked if she preferred him. That's not appropriate for work. That would have been bad enough, but a lot of the other staff people had been complaining about Sheila's breaks being too long, and her visiting this other attorney during work hours. The boss ignored the compliments for the most part, I think until he realized how much time Sheila had been spending with the other attorney. And until he had a rather disastrous anniversary date with his wife. Whoa. The boss is married? I wish I didn't know this, but wholly inappropriate comments, Batman. Wait, back up. Okay, that's crazy. He's married and he's jealous. He shouldn't be jealous in the first place because it's the workplace. Like, get a grip. But also, like, you're married, sir. You are in holy matrimony to a wife till death do you part, sir. At the end of last week, the boss calls me and Sheila into his office, along with the other attorney, the office manager, and the staff person who had been complaining the most about Sheila. He yelled at just about everybody except me, and really, nothing he said was out of bounds or inappropriate because it was all about being late to work or screwing around. And then he pulls out a machete, a real machete. And then he says that while we're all very important to him, if he has to have this conversation again, not everybody is going to leave an employee. And then he brought the machete down on his desk, leaving a gouge in the wood. I still can't quite believe it happened. Yeah, not appropriate. Not good. You could definitely sue for that, I think. I think that falls under a law somewhere. It has to. The next day, I expected him to at least acknowledge how nuts or over the top whatever his behavior was, but instead he said, I think machete cuts and desks will be a great way to enforce order and discipline. I was speechless. Jail. Straight to jail for this man. I am scared. I'm scared for employees. I'm scared for his wife. I'm scared. The thing is, I love the work. I'm good at it. I want to stick with it. While we could deal without my income, we want to adopt in the near future, which will be impossible without a second income. But I also have no idea what to do with a boss who thinks swinging the machete around is an appropriate response to anything in the workplace. I have no idea what to say to him since he is clearly not operating with Earth logic. There's no one else at work I can take my concerns to. But he's in charge for now. I've told my people to keep their head down and their noses clean so that no one can complain. If the boss carries through to his promise to put me in charge, I'm hopeful that he'll focus on the other side of the business and leave us to do our thing. And maybe once he pulls his head out of his butt and gets over his bruised ego, he'll start seeing sense. But is there a script for this? I know he respects me, and I'm pretty sure he has no idea that at least 4 of his best female employees are ready to walk. Yeah, if you're a female, I would not feel safe at all. I wouldn't feel safe if he even raised his voice in the room, because he's a man, and that's scary. But for him to pull out a machete? Mm-mm. How do I even approach him? I'm not afraid for my own person, and I don't view him as dangerous, machete wielding notwithstanding. But dude, I got nothing. Honestly, ideally, I would stay there for at least a couple of years and then investigate the possibility of moving to a different firm that practices the same kind of law once I've gotten more experience. I love this area of the law, and there's no other firm in my area doing it right now. But moving might be a possibility in a few years. Thoughts, scripts, anything? Additional information is, as an addendum, I did call him out on the machete wielding while he was in my office and there were no available weapons. And he did sort of apologize. He also basically left me in charge of this side of the practice, so any disciplinary actions taken in the future will be my decision and completely weapon-free. So there's some small hope. But really, any advice on how to call out a boss and manage up would be appreciated. So relevant comments, commenter 1 said would be completely illegal here and would be grounds for, if not outright dismissal, then definitely suspension. And then someone said he's head of the firm, guys. There's no firing or disciplining him, at least not from the firm. He owns the place. Now, the state bar, the labor commission, or even the police might be able to do something, but it's not like you can report the guy to his boss because he is that boss. And then they go on for a while. This is hard because the legal field is small and not anywhere near as progressive as it would like to think it is, and some state bars seem more concerned with people paying their dues on time than anything else. So all the legal people are talking legal jargon, and basically it's hard to do anything because who would you report him to? And like police-wise, I don't know. Everybody's kind of all over the place. So there is an update. Obviously, Best Redditor updates. Gang, gang. Thanks for this. He changed his tune a few weeks later. This incident happened about 2 weeks ago when he said he wanted me to be happy at work, and I told him that I'd be happy with 100% less machetes in the workplace. At that point, he hung his head and shuffled his feet like a little boy would who just got caught doing something dumb. The main problem is that I started out this job less than a year ago, and while he has every intention of putting this side of the practice firmly in my hands, there are some real disciplinary issues. Sheila and the other attorney, who had apparently exchanged over 10,000 text messages in the last month, mostly during working hours, so it's not at all temper tantrum. It's compounded, of course, by the reality that he let bad behavior slide when it benefited him, but not the other attorney. but he's already started turning discipline over to me, and my second, who will soon be an attorney, has a specialty in HR, so I believe the situation can be turned around. If I didn't believe, I'd be running for the hills. If Sheila felt threatened, I might feel a lot differently, but she'd call him on several times, and she'd feel secure enough to not to leave, even though I'd told her that I will help her bolt if it's what she wants. And the fact that the boss let me handle the thing with the huge number of texts during working hours without getting involved does give me hope. I don't want to defend him. What he did was wildly inappropriate, and it really pissed me off and shut me up, for sure. But I do feel reassured by the small baby steps in the right direction. Yeah, that's that. That's the last update. Insane. What I will say is it's kind of giving Michael Scott, or when was it Dwight that shot a gun in the office? Like, it kind of just sounds like he's genuinely an idiot. But you always want to err on the side of he's a psychopath and not an idiot. So you always want to do what you can. Like, I would not feel safe there if he just pulled out a machete and made jokes about that being part of his disciplinary routine. Even if you're in charge of that side, he's not in charge of that side. At the end of the day, he owns the office. And I personally do not feel safe working there. I get that for your career, it's really important. But I would just start looking for another job. And you can encourage other people to do the same, but then you don't want it to get back to him. But I would just, if people ask, I'd say, yeah, no, keep your cards close to your chest. You don't want people to know you're looking for another job. But if someone confides in you and you feel like you can confide in them, then I would encourage them to leave. This was 2015, so this was over a decade ago. So yeah, if you're ever in a situation like this, I feel like this is something along these lines probably happens more than we think. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's very hee hee ha ha when you feel like you live in the office. I've worked at places that feel like you're working at the office, like the show The Office. And some things are funny and heartless, and you're like, this is so unserious. But then when machetes get involved, maybe it's time to call it. So yeah, I did have a couple more, but this is already fairly long, so I'm going to leave it at that. If you want me to do another coworkers episode, I have so many more out-of-pocket stories because I didn't realize the first one was going to be that long. So definitely let me know if this is a theme you want me to add to my docket of themes that I go through. But I really appreciate you guys listening, watching, being here. As always, your support means the world to me. It's making my dream come true, and every comment, every like, every follow, anything is just any listen. It's absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you so much for taking the time to be here. I love you guys so much. I upload every single Sunday, and I will be back next Sunday with a whole new podcast episode. Bye, guys.
You was the first to me.